So this is exciting. I've completely failed to film any of it, but I bought 2 lengths of this, which is inch by inch aluminium, and I put it up there. So all the way along there is this, and that is screwed on using some just conduit clamps, you know, just a little thing like that. So that's on there quite tight, and then I bolted through here by using a piece of wood to put over here when I drilled it, so that you don't end up drilling into the surface of the solar panel. So they're all on there, and then I got to that end and managed to put one the wrong way around, so the wire was over here. So I had to take that off, turn it back round and put it back on. And there's another piece along here next to the top of the doghouse here, which I might cut this piece out yet, I'm not sure, or I might just drop a piece of clear plastic into this space so that I can see right up there at the top of the mast, which is quite a handy thing. But I can look through this knackered piece of perspex and see out there as well. But this all needs replacing, so I'm not sure whether to just do away with that and put more solar on the top of here to go with these. So this is what we've screwed up today. So I think that looks all right for what it is. I'm going to seal in between these so they don't drip, and then I'm going to put a piece of facing along the outside of this, so it looks kind of maybe a slight wedge shape, so that it looks a bit more in keeping with the boat. And I might put another 100 watts either side of the boom, bearing in mind that one side or the other will be probably in shade when you're sailing, most likely anyway. So that's all screwed on, that's all screwed in. It's a lot, there's still a massive amount to do. All the wiring has got to be done, all the MPPTs, which I'm thinking about putting in this locker down here once it's all cleaned up. I decided not to clean out the inside of the cockpit until I'd got all the stuff drilled and all the mess had been made. And then I'm going to put a little piece of 2-inch aluminium over the top of here and just stick it down with some silicon sealer of some description. Probably not Sikaflex because it's expensive. There are plenty of other ones out there that work just as well, to be fair, if you use a good quality one. But that is it, that's up there now. So I've got this one to finish here, which isn't actually screwed on or anything, and then I've got to do the same the other side, and then put a piece in here. I think I'm just going to put a piece in there to stop the rain coming through. And the good thing about this boat is that when you're behind the wheel, you can stay dry, so you can tuck back in here and most of the weather goes around you. It's a really nice boat to sail, actually. So that's it, they're all up, and I've got to wire them all together. So I think I'm going to wire these 3 in series, so plus to minus, plus to minus, so you end up with a plus at one end there and a minus at the other end. So that's your 2 connections. And then I've got these and that one, which leaves one left over. So pain in the arse. I'm really going to have to work out how to wire these into the boxes that I've got, the MPPTs, because this I've got exactly the wrong number basically. I've got a PWM, pulse width modulation one, but they're not as good, so I could wire just one of them or 2, maybe those 3 up that way. I don't know. It's late in the day, I'm going for coffee. I'll have another look tomorrow, I think. This is the memorial to the Queen's transport, which on January the 14th, 1814, was smashed to pieces on the rocks just around the corner from here. Today it's quite windy, and you know, you can appreciate the power of the sea. But what you can't appreciate is this boat came all the way back from Lisbon and spent 4 nights at anchor, on a single anchor, out on the Carrick Roads off of Penarrow Point. Penarrow Point is that way, which I'll show you in a minute. The 5th day, in the early hours of the morning, the cable parted and the boat ended up the rocks. There were some 300 and something odd people on board at that point. I'll show you. So right out there where that red buoy is, if you can see it even on this little camera, in 1939 the Stanwood, which was full of coal and was anchored in Falmouth, caught fire, and they weren't quite sure what to do with it, so they dragged it out here where it sank, just the other side of the red mark out there, which is the North Bank buoy. So there's a bank that stretches out from around here and then goes all the way out around here, and it's really quite shallow. You can pretty much stand up on some of it on a big spring tide, and just the other side of that is the shipping channel, and that's where it sank. I think some of the local divers go out there and have a look every now and again, and you see a lot of people fishing off it as well. I'm not sure that there's much left really these days. People on board, which numbered over 300, I think it was 320 people. I'll check that later and put it up here somewhere if I'm wrong. 320 odd people on board, a lot of soldiers and whatnot coming back from the Peninsular Wars, which is when Napoleon was on the rampage down through Europe, and he'd gone through Spain and was heading into Portugal. So we were fighting him on the front there, and this boat was bringing back a lot of people who were very glad to have left Wellington's campaign to get home, and they were nearly there, literally just off the beach here, when the cable broke on the anchor, and before anybody had presence of mind to stick another anchor out, they were on the rocks. So pitch black it would have been on the January morning at 4 o'clock. Pitch black, and everybody's under the deck, and suddenly everybody's trying to get out. You can imagine the pandemonium. There would have been the rigging coming down, spars breaking, sails dropping down. People were being killed by falling rigging as much as anything else, and the pounding waves on the shore. And out of all those people that were on that transport, I think 213 died. It just doesn't bear thinking about. It looks like quite a protected piece of water here. When you look that way, that shore is, somebody will put me right, but it's about a mile away. It's not very far. And you think, well, if the wind's blowing this way, which it would have been, towards the shore, it can't possibly have been, you know, that big that it would trash a boat. But if you have access to anything like Navionics or CMAP or any of the other maps that you can buy for navigating, and you have a look, the sheer number of wrecks here is just beyond belief. So out, where is it? Over there, that's North Bank Buoy, and that's where the Stanwood went down in 1939. I think it was December 1939. This is all from memory, so I'm sorry if I'm not all that accurate. But it caught fire in Falmouth and was full of coal, and they dragged it out here. So just the other side of that, between the red one and the ship's mooring, which is the cylindrical jobby that's a little bit further out, there's a wreck, and that's where it went down. I think a lot of divers still go there today and have a look. I don't know what it's like. One of the local dive guys, Atlantic Scuba, if you're into scuba diving, they're the people to go out and have a look at it with. And there's so much to see here. So that's it. That was all game over. A lot of people, local people, were sort of brought out and looked after the people that were surviving the Queen as it went up the rocks. But I can't imagine how horrifying that must have been, to be woken up with water gushing into the boat when you think you've made it all the way back from Lisbon to here, got away from the war, and you're within a stone's throw of being safe, and that's your lot. Right, so here we are. So far I've got the 3 batteries linked together. I've just cut a couple of pieces to link this one to this one, and then there will be this cable which goes, sorry, can't see it, but it's back in there, to there. So that cable goes through there, back round here, and into this box, and this box has it connected to there. So that's your battery in. So I've got 2 of these. This one's just arrived, so that's it out of the box. It's the 40 amp version that I've got, with a Bluetooth module, so you can link it up to the Renogy Bluetooth app, which you can download from a number of different places, I should imagine. And that's the Bluetooth thing, which plugs into the RS232 plug, nerdy stuff, which is over there. So that plugs into the battery, positive and positive and negative even, into there, and that will give you that will charge the batteries from that point. The PVs, which are up there, which I haven't yet managed to wire in because I haven't had the wire, will be wired in next. Sorry, jiggling everything about now. So that's the second one. So they're going to go in here, and then mount them on a piece of wood and glue the wood to the inside of here when I've painted it all out. That's the plan. What else we got? We've got a battery temperature sensor as well, which I'm not entirely sure that's going to be long enough, but that plugs in the opposite end, so that goes into there like that, and some mounting blocks as well. So that can all go in the bin now and be recycled, and I want to keep the instructions in there. I haven't actually got a lot of time to do too much this week, so it's a fairly short one. And for the extra bit of stuff that I've got, because I bought one of these without the temperature sensor and without the Bluetooth, because it was a lot cheaper, and ridiculously it was about, I think it was £33 I paid for this on eBay through the Renogy site, and this is a PWM one, so it's not as good as an MPPT. It doesn't track the voltage quite so well, but if you just want to bung a bit more in, if you've got extra solar panels, then that's an ideal one. Or if you just want a spare one in case anything else goes bang, because I don't know, it's just my luck that something else will go bang. This week the clutch on my bike has gone wrong, which has made me very happy. And not only that, I think it's the UJ on the car is broken as well, so everything's going really well. On that note, I would like to say thank you to Jill and Adrian, who chucked some money in the coffee pot for me this week. That's outstanding. Thank you very much. That's really helped. And do come down and have a coffee with me. Right. Anyway, moving along. This is the Renogy battery monitor, which I think goes onto one of the terminals there, and it'll measure what comes in and out on your electrical system, so you know what you're charging and you know what's going back out from it. It's fairly straightforward to wire up, but that'll be in the next episode where I do all the wiring, which I can't do this week because I only ordered the wire yesterday. So that's about it for a minute. Thank you to everybody who's supporting the channel in various ways, and especially thank you to the people that are coming in a week's time to give me a hand painting up stuff and cleaning other rubbish out. That's really, really appreciated, and more from them in a week's time, I think that is. Thanks very much.